Hello, I'm Sierra, also known as C's Library. Welcome back to my BookTube channel. Today we're going to be doing part 2 in the series of making my 2025 book journal. In part 1, we talked about journal options and supplies that you'll need. But in today's episode, we're going to finally start making the book journal. So let's get right into it. I like to start right at the beginning of my journal on that first page. For in whatever wacky case that my journal gets lost, I don't want to expect anyone to put any effort past the first page to locate me, so I keep it all right there. This page we can call the belongs to page, where you're claiming ownership over your work. There's a great opportunity here at the beginning to discuss layering. I like my first page here to represent the theme and style I want to go for in the journal, so I'm going to use this cute washi tape set from Notebook Therapy, and I'm going to select some neutralish pink paper and stickers to just set the theme right. If you set all these elements on a page normally, it would probably look a little plain, so a big part of journaling is just layering it all. I almost always start with washi tape, but sometimes I'll add another layer of washi tape later on. It takes me a while to figure out where I want things to go, so I move them around and look at the placement of things. So basically it's just trial and error here and finding the right elements and remixing them until they look the best. I don't like my journal to look too scattered or too cluttered, so I usually leave a good amount of open space on these pages and layer the elements I want to give it a scrapbooky look. I found this pink label thing that I thought would be great in the corner for me to hold some of my information, like my @ on Instagram. Then I searched around for a neutralish pink flower sticker in my nature stack. It was actually pretty easy for me to find. It was right at the top for me. And then I searched for the right space, and I'm a little uncertain of the placement still, but it's where I decided for it to go. Top right corner, I knew I needed something to add to it, so I looked in this vintage set that I have for some cute neutrals. I originally wanted this little cake ad with a pink border, but it was a little too large for my vision. But I had the idea of dessert because of that, so I found this even more neutral pie image that I decided to use. I layered it underneath the label, and bam, it was all coming together pretty nice. Now it's time to stick it all down, minus the washi tape that was already stuck down. So then I used my Tombow adhesive to stick down the paper elements and put the sticker onto there. My thought process with stickers like this is that it's a more organic shape that can cut up the straight edgedness of the washi tapes. The uncertainty for me comes from having two floral elements next to each other, while the other elements I'm going to be using are not floral. But alas, it's what I went with anyways. And then it was time to write my label. I noted that it was a book journal and added my social media ad. I don't usually put a phone number or other contact information in there, but you can if you're worried about your book journal. And ta-da! We did the first step. It's all put together. And that's the first page complete. I'm so proud of how this one came out, and I'm excited to get into the second one. So let's jump right into that. The second page we're making today is pretty similar to the cover page we just made, but it'll contain more information specific to this book journal. As an example, this is my first book journal on my second book journal pages. So we start again with layering things. This time I didn't start with my washi tape because I knew I wanted to use this big paper, so I started there. Big elements are usually easier to layer on if you do it at the beginning. I immediately taped it down so I knew what space was covered without moving around. I put down some washi tape, but it was a little tilted and had some air bubbles, so I had to adjust it a bit. Then I added a pinkish sticker because it was a little bit too neutral for me. And then another washi layer on top. A nature sticker at the bottom. Another washi tape over the first washi tape. So basically I'm just layering all my elements that I liked. 2 little papers I thought fit the style. I like this page to be a little bit more covered because it's like a mood board for how I want my journal to look. And so that's it. Then it's on to the writing. I put that as my book journal for 2025 and the date started, and I'll add the rest later on. Usually I put the date I started and finished the book journal. I also am planning to add on this one the books of the year. For example, this journal may only contain books 1 to 40 of my Goodreads challenge, and then book journal 2 would then say books 41 to 80, or however many I get to. This is just an extra way of organizing it for me, but I'm not going to put that in there today. And bam, my cover is done. In case you're struggling to get your title words like this done nicely, I'll go into some tips on writing a little bit fancier. Using a Tombow marker is a great way to get some nice calligraphy, but if you don't have that, let's start with the basics. Using a plain marker, I'm going to show you how you can get some nicer writing that looks as though you used a Tombow marker. So first, write out whatever you want to write. I'm just going simple with a little hello. I'm going to write it in both cursive and regular so that you can see the different styles and how to do that. So I write it my normal way, and then to add depth of the one I've shown, you have to add a line for each downstroke and fill it in. It's pretty simple when you think of it this way. So anytime you're moving down in your handwriting, moving the pen downwards, you just make the line a little thicker. When using a Tombow or calligraphy pen, this would just be pushing down a little bit more when you are writing downstrokes. But it's a simple and effective way to add some style to your writing in whichever pen you're using. If you don't like it in cursive, you can try other font styles you like. One option is to write big in marker and then small writing on top in cursive or standard writing to add some extra pizzazz. Outlining both cursive and standard writing brings a little extra layers to the style, so I do that often in my writing. I mean, there are a million ways to change up your writing style. I'll show you a few more here that I've done while I was thinking about this for the video. And if you're interested in learning any specific ones, let me know, and maybe I'll make a video in the future to show how to do them later on in the series. And that's about it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope some of these tips were helpful to you. I really liked making my cover pages, and I hope you did too. See you next week where we're going to start our first reading tracker. Thank you. Bye. And that's the first page done. I'm so excited to get into the second page, but I'm so proud. I cannot stop mixing up my words. And that's about it for today. I really enjoyed making my cover pages. I hope you did too. I hope some of these tips, I need to stop saying I hope.